Hey guys, welcome back to Just a Geek in the Garage. Today I want to talk about the Icon sale that's currently going on. It started on September 3rd, it goes through September 14th of 2025. And basically the way it works is if you buy 2 Icon tools, you get 15% off, 3 you get 20% off, and 4 or more you get 25% off. So this is a sale that I saw them run last year, so I think it's something they run typically once a year or so. And obviously Icon also has sales throughout the year where they'll do 40% off of certain categories. So I just want to talk today a little bit about what are good things to look at and what are good things to kind of skip, during the sale, and what did I pick up during the sale. So what you see kind of here in front of you is what I picked up. Honestly, these ratchets, I should have waited until they had the 40% off sale off of ratchets. However, these ones came out a little while ago. They've kind of been sold out a lot of the times when you go, and it's hard to find them in stock, at least around me. And, I figured at 25% off, I'm willing to pay a little bit more right now than wait for the 40% off sale, and maybe they're not in stock at that point because they become a very hot commodity at that time. Reason I bought these guys, I have a lot of the Gen 1 Icons, and I have a lot of Snap-on ratchets and stuff like that. But the only thing that I don't have in my collection, which is odd considering how many ratchets I have, is I don't have any locking flex heads. I have a lot of flex heads, but the only locking one I have is part of that meme tool, that little tiny one. But as far as like a regular 1/4 inch or a 3/8, I don't have any locking flex heads. A lot of the flex heads out there, there's always been some kind of issues with maybe the switch is too big, you hit it when you're moving it around, stuff like that. But I've heard a lot of good things about this one. I forget who they stole this, or not, I'm sorry, stole, but borrowed this idea from. I think it was either Mac or Matco. I'm pretty sure it was Matco for the actual locking portion of this. But inside of here, the kind of the Paul design, the dual Paul 80 tooth was definitely very, very similar to the the Snap-on dual 80s, which I have quite a few of them and are my favorite ratchet. I have a lot of their 90 tooth Gen 1s, but I decided to give these ones a shot, especially because it's nice to finally add some locking flex heads to the collection. So I'll play around with these, maybe do kind of a review compared to some of my other ratchets. But just wanted to pick these up to have them while they still had them in stock. One word of caution on the sale, because you have to buy 4 or more items at the same time in order to get the 25% off, is check ahead of time to see if they have what you want in stock. Because the first few stores that I checked online, they only had one or the other of these. They didn't have both in stock. So if I would have gone in, I wouldn't have been able to get the 25% off, or at least I wouldn't have been able to get both of them for 25% off. So that was the first thing I picked up. Again, if you're patient and willing to wait for the 40% off sale, I definitely would do that. The other things that I picked up today are going to be things that I have not personally seen go 40% off, throughout the year. So typically what Icon does, again, once a year, 40% off of ratchets. They'll also do, usually once or twice a year, 40% off of wrenches, and also 40% off of sockets and socket sets. So those 3 categories, if you can, I would wait until they have the 40% off sale. That's pretty much how I bought almost all of my Icon stuff, is on those 40% off sales. However, the rest of the stuff, I usually wait for this coupon that we have going on right now, which is the 25% off. Because, I love Icon tools and all, but, I don't want to pay full price for them. I would rather get them for 25 to 40% off, because who doesn't like to save a little bit of money? But these ones here in front of me, I've never seen go on that 40% off sale, and so 25% I think is going to be the best that we're going to do, and especially because all these items are over $20, so you don't get that 5 items for 30% off that you see them run once every couple months or so. So the first thing I kind of got here is the second thing I got here is these Allen keys. They're the ball end Allen keys I got in metric and standard. I have the regular ones of these, the multicolor ones that don't have the ball end, but I decided to pick these up because I don't have a high quality version of these ball end Allen keys. So I thought it would be good to have for certain tasks. And then the other thing that I have been looking at for a very long time is this radiator hose pick set that comes with 6 different lengths and styles. And this one, I have a version from OEM Tools. I have a handful of these from Snap-on, but I don't I don't have the full comprehensive set like this. And I've been, again, looking at this for a long time, but it never seems to go quite on sale. However, one thing to note is this is one of the only items or one of the only items I've seen in recent memory actually drop in price from Icon, because I've noticed, a lot of their things, their pliers have gone from, for example, $17.99 to now $19.99 or $21.99. So everything seems to be kind of ticking up just a little bit in pricing. However, this one, when they were first released, were $59.99. Now they sell for $54.99. And I figured with 25% off, it's time for me to kind of jump on this sale. So again, so these are the 5 items that I happened to pick up with this 25% off sale. So, a few other things that I would potentially look at that I already own, but that's why I didn't buy them, is, their screwdriver set at 25% off, I think is a pretty good deal. And they have, a handful of other things that you can pick up. But again, sockets, ratchets, wrenches, those categories, I would wait if you possibly can. One other thing to note is I didn't read the coupon carefully enough before I went in, because one of the main things I wanted was Icon recently released a tester, like a diagnostic tester for about $80, and that was one of the main things I wanted. Initially, I was just going to get the radiator hose set, these guys, and then that light tester, but it's not part of the sale. So apparently, I guess it's just hand tools. So keep that in mind. It's not every single Icon item that you see. I wish it was. So that's the only one, because I think it was about $80 and I wasn't willing to pay that price. I wanted to get it, on sale if I could. But, hopefully I'll get a 25% off coupon here one of these days and I can pick it up. But again, tell me, what do you guys think about the selection that I have here in front of you? And let me know, what are you guys planning on picking up, if anything? And what do you think of this sale? You think 25% off is a solid price for Icon tools, or, would you definitely wait for that 40% off? So just want to make kind of a quick video. I haven't unboxed any of this stuff, obviously, as you can see. So what I'll probably do is, the rest of the stuff I likely will not do a review on unless somebody requests it. However, I will definitely be taking a look at the ratchets and kind of comparing them to what I have and see if they were worth the money or not. Just so you know, kind of pricing. These guys were both $21.99 each. This was $69.99, and these were $50. This is $54.99. Same with the radiator hose pick, and that's the pricing before the 25% off. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe.